Yeah, I would.
Give your name and address, please.
First of all, I would like to apologize to any of the good people here that look forward to the videos between the elections and the holiday. I was a little lax, and I'll try to do a little better. I do have a question about assessment. You know, I know that everyone here knows about the property that the school district wants to purchase, and about, there was an article in the newspaper about the property, and is it worth $90-some thousand an acre? My question is that it appears that the assessments are a lot lower than what these properties have been selling for, at least when that's the case when I compare the county assessment records to the newspaper article. So I was wondering if we could look forward to the properties along Route 31 being assessed next year to reflect their true property values, so that they can pay their fair share. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
A nice quick
Give your name and
nodding.
address, please.
My name is Jessica Zambrano. My question has to do with the whole reassessment process. When is the board going to make a decision on that? And when is the board going to make a decision on that?
We just had a meeting with the supervisor the other day in Salina. We were talking about different ideas. We haven't really come up with any hard things as of yet, and I'm sure we'll have something in the upcoming weeks.
Your intent is to merge with Salina, to share an assessor with Salina?
That's just my suggestion. It's a determination that has to be made by this board.
Will there be a public hearing about that?
I believe that there will be. It's sometime.
But you know my views, I've all along said we need to have our own assessor. And ORPS has told us that we need to move along because they need to help us with our formulating a contract that we want to let to a company to do the assessments, which would address Ms. Gardner's concern about the properties on 31 getting the proper assessment. If we have a company to do reassessment of all the properties in the town, then we will, you know, that needs to be done. We have to move along. In that respect, I would like to have a post for the job of assessor for the town and get moving. Linda, Yancy told us she's almost done with the things that she came to do, and she can't work part-time. Chetty just said that to us, and so we really need to move forward. It's my opinion that we need to get a full-time assessor, a credible person who can handle this huge job that's coming up, and not somebody part-time who's gonna, you know, be here half-time and half-time somewhere else. And in that respect, I would like to put a motion on the floor that we get a full-time assessor, that we post for the job and do it. Can I have a second? No.
Chad, do you have any idea when you're going to have more information on this proposal for the tax officer, the assessor's office with Salina?
I would bet that it's going to be probably within the next week and a half.
Wow.
Mr. Dudzinski, given all the problems with assessments in this town, why would you consider sharing an assessor? You know, I agree with Charlotte. We need a full-time assessor in this town. Maybe once we get the problem straightened out, it would be logical to talk about sharing an assessor. But, you know, I think we're headed for disaster. What's the purpose in sharing an assessor at this point in time? Do we not have the money for a full-time assessor?
No, I just believe it's a good way to save some money for the taxpayers in these tough economic times.
Well, there's other things that you could save money on, other departments that don't have problems, you know, like tax receivers, maybe the police department. I mean, the assessment department is where all of the problems are, and that's where you want to merge to save taxpayer money. You know, I think it's throwing money down a rat hole when we've got so many problems, you know, to share a part-time assessor, you know, when these problems are existent in this town.
Well, let me bring the information back and we'll have another discussion and we can go from there.
Thank you.
Forbes did tell us that we wouldn't necessarily need to have a long-term contract with that person, as we have, you know, the assessor's appointment is generally 6 or 7 years. And we wouldn't necessarily have to go all that distance if in the future, after we clean it up, then we would like to consider consolidation in some way. But we need somebody who's gonna focus on the best things for the town right now.
Well, I've had discussions with Teresa Frank, and she doesn't seem to be that overly concerned. She just believes that if we sit down and we work together with Salina, that we're gonna be able to come up with a good solution to the problem.
Well, she's a state person who will get a big feather in her cap for pushing for an assessor consolidation. There hasn't been a large town consolidation effort in the assessor's department, and that's her big deal. She's just looking for a big feather in her cap. I wasn't really impressed with that lady who was complaining about the state cutting back on her expenses, you know? Cutting back on taxpayers' money should be done wisely and should be agreed to by state employees. It just needs, I think we have to think about what's good for this town for right now. We can go for, consolidation sometime in the future, but we need to straighten ourselves out first.
Here, here.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?